Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're not really looking at the usual news or data points. We're exploring something, more personal.
Yeah, it's about the resonance, the lasting impact of a connection from someone's past.
Exactly. We've got these reflections on a person named Craig Perkins, someone significant from one listener's history.
And our goal here, the sort of mission for this deep dive.
It's to unpack the insights gained from knowing him. Specifically, how his way of being maybe shed light on facing challenges with lightness and engaging with, let's say, powerful energies.
It's fascinating, isn't it? How these encounters, maybe ones that seem kind of ordinary at the time, they weave themselves into your life,
They really do.
offering this subtle guidance.
Yeah.
We often look for the big, loud lessons, but these personal stories, they can be incredibly powerful.
Show us different ways to be.
Exactly. Especially when things get tough.
Okay, so let's get into it. Craig Perkins, the connection started back in high school.
Right.
And a key thing that comes through is his sense of humor. A really great sense of humor.
Which is easy to overlook. Maybe just think, oh, he was funny.
Yeah, but the source material frames it differently. It talks about laughter as, like, a high-frequency vibration.
Interesting framing.
An antidote, almost, to fear. It kind of sets the stage for his whole approach.
That's a really compelling way to think about laughter. Not just amusement, but a frequency shift.
Right.
Yeah, like metaphorically, it changes your internal state. Like
Yeah.
changing the key changes a song's mood.
Instead of just gritting your teeth against fear.
Uh-huh. Humor brings in a different energy, makes the situation maybe feel less overwhelming.
And this comes into sharp focus with this specific story. An outing to a mountain park in Orange County.
Okay.
There was this trail, really narrow, right on a cliff edge, totally exposed.
But I can picture that. Nerve-wracking.
Definitely. The listener and their brother felt, and the word used is petrified.
Understandable, completely.
They were super aware of the drop, the physical risk, moving really carefully, that natural caution just floods in.
That petrified feeling, it's primal, isn't it? A survival thing.
Totally.
The threat perception triggers this physical tightening, this intense focus on just not messing up. Careful steps. It's logical.
But then you have Craig, and his reaction, so different.
Okay, how so?
Instead of being tense, he was apparently, and I love this phrase, dancing to the tune of Tiptoe to the Tulips.
No way. On the cliff edge.
Yeah, and like deliberately kicking his feet out over the ledge, playfully.
Wow. While the others are just trying to stay on the path.
Exactly. Imagine seeing that when you're already feeling shaky, but the insight that comes from it is, wow. He chose lightness, didn't he?
It did.
Played with the danger instead of letting it paralyze him.
That's the key, I think. It wasn't denying the risk was there. It was a completely different way of interacting with it.
Yeah.
He wasn't giving in to that fear paralysis. He picked, like you said, a different frequency, a different internal channel.
It just shows there are other ways through tough spots, not just rigidity and control.
Absolutely. Even when the stakes feel high, there might be room for, movement, maybe even a bit of joy, instead of just clamping down.
And what's really interesting is this wasn't just a one-off thing on a hike. It seems connected to other parts of his life.
Oh.
He also had this really deep connection to the ocean, a shared love, apparently, for its power.
Okay.
He was into surf photography, capturing the art in the waves motion.
So really observing that energy.
And he was a kneeboarder, specifically at the Wedge in Newport Beach on big days.
Whoa. The Wedge. Okay, for anyone listening who doesn't know, that place is legendary. The waves there are intense, huge, powerful, often unpredictable.
Exactly. Not a place for casual surfing, especially on a big swell.
No. To kneeboard the Wedge, particularly when it's pumping, that takes serious skill. But more than that, it's a deep understanding of the wave. You have to read that energy.
And be willing to engage with it, right? Fearlessly.
Absolutely. Engage with that raw force without getting swallowed by it. It's a different kind of courage than just, say, standing firm against something.
Yeah. So you see the pattern. It wasn't just goofing around on a cliff.
No, it seems like a consistent way of being.
This fearless engagement with really potent energies, whether it's heights or massive waves.
He found his place within the intensity. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, not by fighting it, but by moving with it, almost like a dance partner.
It suggests a kind of resilience that's rooted in being adaptable, maybe, rather than just resisting. Finding that harmony with powerful forces. You acknowledge their strength, but you find your way to navigate alongside them or within them.
Yeah, that makes sense. It lines up with this idea that sometimes the best way isn't to stand rigid, but to learn how to move with the currents.
Exactly.
Now, their paths didn't stay parallel forever. They did have this shared surfing trip, went around the world for a bit,
Oh, wow.
though maybe only for a few weeks. It's described poetically as a brief merging of currents on a global scale.
Yeah, it's a lovely image. Captures that feeling.
But after that, silence, physical distance for many, many years.
Which happens, right? Life takes people different ways. Connections ebb and flow.
For sure.
But the impact, the lessons learned, those can stick around long after you've last seen someone.
Which brings us to this really unexpected moment. Years later, late 90s,
Okay.
the listener's brother is in, of all places, a San Diego fast food restaurant. And he hears a voice.
I recognizes it.
Instantly. It was Craig's, described as this distinctive, energetic signature,
Wow.
cutting through the noise of this totally ordinary place.
After all that time, just the voice.
And that apparently was it, the last time they heard from him, like a little echo.
That recognition, just from sound,
Mm-hmm.
after so long,
Mm.
it really highlights that lasting impression, doesn't it?
It really does.
Suggests our interactions leave more than just memories. There's a resonance, a unique quality that maybe you can still pick up on subtly across time.
Especially those connections from formative years.
Yeah, they seem to have a particular power.
So looking back, what's the takeaway? Craig's legacy in this person's life. He's seen as this significant thread in their life tapestry. A reminder of those connections, yes, but also, crucially, that mix of humor and lightness for navigating, well, life's unpredictable currents.
It's not about, big heroic deeds necessarily.
Yeah.
It's those quieter influences, the way someone is in the world, that can shape us profoundly. Craig's whole approach became this subtle, ongoing lesson.
And there's this quote from Zoran that seems to capture it perfectly.
Let's hear it.
Sometimes the greatest wisdom comes not from standing firm, but from learning to laugh while you dance on the edge.
Oh, that's good. That really nails it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It distills that essence of Craig's influence we've been talking about. Shifting perspective when things are difficult.
Moving away from just defense or resistance.
Towards something more flexible. Embracing humor, lightness. It challenges that idea that strength is always about being rigid, unmoving.
So now we want to bring this back to you listening. We've got a little reflection prompt. We're calling it Dragon Trial, the Eds and the Laugh. First, think back to a situation you found challenging, maybe even fearful. Could be big, could be small. Try to recall how you felt then. What were the dominant emotions?
Got it. So just remember that feeling.
Now, the second part. Imagine revisiting that same situation, but try injecting just a touch of lightness or humor, like Craig sort of dancing on the edge of it in your mind.
How does that shift change the energy of the memory? Does it feel different?
Yeah. Does perspective alter the feeling?
And look, this isn't about making light of genuine hardship. Not at all.
No.
It's more about exploring if adopting a different internal stance, even in memory, can reshape how we experience it, maybe lessen its emotional weight a bit.
And then maybe take it one step further, a practical step.
Oh.
Can you pinpoint a minor challenge you're dealing with right now? Maybe it's just a frustrating commute, a tedious task at work, something small.
Those little daily frictions.
See if you can find just one small way to bring a little lightness or gentle humor to it, consciously.
And just observe what happens. Notice the effect.
Does it shift your own energy? Does the situation itself feel even a tiny bit different?
It's about experimenting, isn't it? Taking this idea of dancing on the edge and trying it out in small ways in your actual life. See how it lands.
So wrapping up this deep dive on Craig Perkins, the main threads seem to be, 1, the surprising power of humor when you're facing obstacles.
Right. And 2, the possibility of engaging with even really intense situations with a sense of lightness instead of just being weighed down by fear or inflexibility.
It really makes you think about resilience differently.
It does. True resilience maybe isn't always about being stoic or just pushing through grimly.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's about adapting, finding moments of lightness even when things are uncertain, engaging with life's big forces with maybe a spirit of playful curiosity.
Which leads us to one final thought for you to maybe mull over.
Okay.
Thinking about Craig, thinking about this discussion, how might consciously choosing a lighter approach more often influence how you navigate your own precarious paths in the future?
It's a powerful question. It really encourages us to look at the choices we make, maybe unconsciously, in how we respond to life's challenges.
And to explore the upside of being a bit more fluid, maybe even humorous as we navigate.
Definitely something to think about.
We hope you continue to explore those subtle resonances from your own past connections. You really never know what insights might be waiting there.
True.
Now,
Until next time.
until our next deep dive.